Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good to see everybody. Let me see. Miss Justice, you are number one in here tonight. All right. There you go. Much love, PG, and prayers. Much love to you and prayers to you too, girl. God bless. Good to see you in here. Oh, wow, Mara, number two. Good evening, PG. Summer's Army. Much love. Much love to you, girl. Much love and prayers to you as well. God bless. Number two. Mara made number two tonight. And let's see who made number three. Ah, there's Bridget. Bridget, all right. She made number three in here tonight. God bless. All right. And let's see who number four is. And get down through here. Oh, wow. Amanda, you number four. Number four in here tonight. All right. There we go. Hey, everyone. With much love and prayers. Hey, girl, much love and prayers to you. God bless. Good to see you guys in here. 1, 2, 3, and 4 there. Good people. Good people. Hey, Texas Frat Bread. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Good to see you, PG. Much love. God bless. Prayers to you and your family. She remembered me. And Summer Moon Utah Wells. Love and prayers to Summer. And love and prayers to Miss Norway and everyone in the chat. Hey, girl. God bless. We appreciate it. That's beautiful. Beautiful, Mara. Hey, Texas Blue. How you doing, sweetie? Good to see you in here. I'll try to get as many people as I can as I'm heading to the bottom tonight. Hey, Vicky, how you doing, sweetie? Hey, Price, how you doing? Good to see you. Hey, PG in chat. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, wow. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I'm Dawn. That is absolutely beautiful. Hey, there's my Suzanne. How you doing? How you doing, girl? Vicky, how you doing? The show sounds really interesting tonight. Um, it's to it's to my understandings. It's to my understandings that law enforcement has been looking into some new information. Some new information. Um, so on the Summer Wells case, they're looking into some new leads, some new information that has been coming in. Actually, it's been coming in over the last few months, but there's new information. I guess something has been relayed. Something's been relayed, and I don't know, exactly how long it's going to take, but I think we're going to see some movement in Summer's case. I do believe we will see some movement in her case. Maybe in the next few weeks. I don't know, but that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. I talked to somebody very credible, very liable, and and that's what I'm understanding. That's what I'm understanding. So we'll see. We'll see. Um, the one lady, she came out. She came out just a few months back and said that they were looking at some stuff. She even said that they're just waiting for this little piece. That's what she said, a little piece. Um, I don't know, but I think I got an idea what that little piece might be. Um, I think I do. And if they do get that little piece, well, Summer's case will be solved. If they get that little piece, there's going to be arrest made. Um, so I just wanted to inform everybody. that there seems to be some movement, and there's going to be even more movement, um, over the next few weeks. So I don't know what's got the movement. I don't know what's got the move. I don't know what the information is that's got this movement going. I just know that some came in that is definitely, you know, drawed, unlike most stuff coming through. It's really drawed some attention. So it must be something really good. It must be something really good. And I'm going to tell you, I think it has to do, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I might know and just can't tell. Right? But anyway, um, the point is, it could have something to do with this right here, right there. Old Chad Arnold, old Chad Arnold. Mommy bailed him out. They got him. Mommy bailed him out. Also, I heard they caught up with Mr. Jimmy Long, and I'm not sure what Jimmy said, but I do know that he was saying some smack. He was talking some stuff on Summer's case. He was definitely, he was jawing. He was really jawing some stuff on Summer and her case. So I'm not sure, I'm not sure if maybe it's what he said, um, or he said, or maybe both of them said. I don't know. And it could possibly be right here. Marlene's brother, good old Ricky. He also, law enforcement's got him. And I'm not sure if he made bail yet or not. But, people will talk when they feel like they're against the wall. They'll talk. But I did hear that, some stuff came through. It's really got some movement going. It draws some interest. It's got movement going. And law enforcement's on top of it. Whatever it is, they're on top of it. It's what I'm hearing, you guys. Is what I'm hearing. So, we'll see. We'll see. And right here, bounty hunters. Bounty hunters are looking for her. So that tells me she's wanted pretty dang good also. When you got bounty hunters out looking for you, there's a price that goes with it, right? I mean, they don't go looking for people for nothing. So they're wanting her. They're wanting her for some reason. Is it something to do with, him, or what he said, or what he's saying? I don't know. I just know, she's wanted. They're wanting her. So, and they done got, this, and they done got that, and they done got this. So this is the missing link right now. But I'm sure it'll get got too. I'm sure it's going to get got. So I don't know. But that's my suspicion. My suspicion is somebody in this group talked. Somebody ran their mouth. Somebody, got a little afraid, offered to give up some stuff, and they got some movement going. So that's a good thing. That is a very good thing right now. Also, I wanted to tell you, did anybody else hear about Don B? Did anyone else hear about Don B? Hey, Australia girlfriend, I needed to say hello to you. I need to say hello to you. And Carolina, you too, girl. And Jenny, I'm sorry, I kind of stopped in the middle of everything. And hey, Audrey, how you doing tonight, sweetie? I didn't mean to stop in the middle of everything. Patty, how you doing, sweetie D? Good to see everybody. I didn't mean to stop in the middle of my howdy doodies and move and move on, right? Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. I'm grieving mama. That is absolutely beautiful. Prayers for all in need of them. Prayers for all the missing children. Tons of prayers, blessings, friendship, love, hugs, and love for all of Summer's Army from Oklahoma. Hey, girl, we so appreciate it. And I'm going to tell you, I'm sure that the chat is sending it back, and I know I am. I know I am sending that love and prayers and all that your way as well. God bless. Um, oh, Brad says, Carolina, good to see you, sweetie. Absolutely. It's good to see everybody in here. Oh, looky there. Australia is definitely handing out the love. Patty Ponytail, how you doing, sweetie? She says, hey, PG Mods in chat. Happy Sunday to all of you. Happy Sunday. Amali, good to see you, girlfriend. God bless. Much love. And chocolate covered pickles, how you doing tonight? She said, blessings, Mama PG. Much love. Much love to you. Much love to you. God bless. Good to see you guys. It's good to see everybody. 9093. How you doing, Brenda? Good to see everyone in here. Let me see. I don't want to pass up anything beautiful here. Absolutely. Grieving Mama, I'll tell you. I think some are really, you know, I think she really does. I think when such tragedy happens to people, it leaves a real, you know, I think when such tragedy happens, I think it leaves like a really strong presence, you know, behind. And can that presence attract, can that, you know, that fear and all of those things, can it attract, you know, um, law enforcement and other people, you know, into where, you know, where they need to go? I think so. I think so. That's, you know, I think that um I don't exactly believe really in ghost, you know. I don't believe in ghost. Um, you know, when I was a kid, you believed in all that woo ghost stuff and everything, but you know, as you get older, you know, you don't I don't believe in ghosts. I don't exactly know what them apparitions are, you know, that we see and stuff. I am not for sure what they are, but I do think that sometimes the past and the present, the energy from the past can, you know, collide with the here and now. And I think sometimes, you know, it could be apparitions of, you know, of the past colliding with the present, the energy of it all. And, you know, and that's what I think, you know, when I say that sometimes with, you know, such tragedies and stuff, I think that there's a way higher amount, higher level of energy being, you know, wasted than when, you know, everything's calm, everything's just, you know, the way it's supposed to be. And I think sometimes, you know, that energy is trapped and it can collide with the present at certain times, um, where people can see, you know, they can see things. Um, that's what, you know, I believe. Yeah, Don B. I was going to ask, did everybody know Don B said that he was leaving true crime? I guess he said that, you know, he's going to start a traveling channel and kind of like probably, you know, go to some really nice restaurants and, you know, different stores and stuff, you know, show what they got on sale for the holidays and Christmas and things like that. Maybe he may go over to like Dollywood and some of the really you know strong attractions of Tennessee, maybe some of the better restaurants. Maybe he'll visit up some good restaurants and keep people interested and informed. Where to find all the hot spots. Um, if some people like country food, some people like Italian, some people like Spanish food. Some people like different things. And maybe he'll go to some of those restaurants, maybe some of the five-star hotels and stuff like that, and just basically have a lot of fun doing it and take away all the stress of what he's been doing, right? It'll take away all the stress of you know um getting always being came out sideways. Every time you open your mouth you get came out sideways. And true crime is really it's really a hard thing to do. It's hard to get up every single day living this life. you know like you live and you breathe it. When you're doing this, you're living and breathing it all the time. Even when you're doing your regular job, you're thinking about it. You're checking into it on your breaks, your lunch, your after work, and you know you're looking into it. In the evenings you're looking to it. Late at night um it's a lot, and you do live and breathe it, and it starts to consume your every second, it seems like. And it doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. No matter how hard you try to focus on other things, maybe family gatherings, family time out, it ends up coming up in a conversation, or you end up seeing maybe a playground that reminds you of Summer's case, or another missing child's case, or it's just always with you. It's always with you. And so I can understand how he wants to leave it. I understand that. Yeah, and and I believe that you know I believe that Don B was living and breathing it too. I think to the point. I mean, it caused a lot of problems with his neighbors. It caused a lot of problems with you know the people around him, and it's like it's when you're doing true crime. It's like damn if you do, damn if you don't, right? That's basically what it is. It's like you know it goes back to the old saying. You can make some of the people happy some of the time, and some of the time you can make some of the people happy, but you can't make all the people happy all the time, right? Kind of goes with that old saying. But it is what it is, you know. And in our world today, I mean, we got to remember we're in Revelations, right? We're in the days of Noah out here. And, even though we really pray that things get better, but I don't think they're going to. I don't think that, things are going to get better. I mean, I think it's pretty bad right now. Like, you know, our world's pretty, our world's, our world is pretty messed up. I mean, it's came a long ways. It's came a long ways into evilness, right? Um, what I'm saying is, you know, like if you go back in history to the 1940s, the 1950s, you know, um, and, you know, please don't come at PG sideways on this one because I have nothing against tattoos. If somebody wants to mark their body, that's their business, not mine. I don't tell people how to live their life because I don't want to be told how to live mine. You know, I don't mark my body. I ain't going to because, it's God's temple. This body belongs to God, not me. And I'm not going to be doing nothing to it. I do enough to it. I do enough to it, that I can't control. I'm not going to be doing nothing to it that I can control. Um, so, you know, I've already put enough marks on it, right? Being a kid, scratching up your knees and elbows, and and all the things that you do during your teen years, right? And so forth and so on. I mean, I think we do enough damage, to ourselves, but without, that we can't control. So for me, you know, and for my household, um, you know, we understand that, this body belongs to God, not us. And the Bible says don't be marking it, so we don't. We're not going to. But, I ain't got nothing against people who do, if that's what they want to do. Because, some tattoos are really cute and the sleeves are really cute. But, you know, when God tells you don't do something, you probably should listen. And so, anyhow, um, you got people, doing that right now. Like, to be honest with you, our world's kind of looking like, um, a real scary movie, right? All of these people all tattooed up and stuff like that. I mean, back in the 40s and 50s, the only people that had those was like service guys, right? Guys that were in the military, sailors, mostly sailors, but some army, some, Air Force, usually it was, or, people who was in jail or prison, they'd have, they get a jail or prison tattoo. It wasn't, but you didn't see it very often. It was a hit and miss. Um, but now, like, like it's it's really out there. And you know, and then you've got, when the Lord said that it's going to be like the days of Noah, it's like the days of Noah. I mean, people are trying to make evil righteous and righteousness evil, right? And they want to, the law seems like it's for criminals instead of for the 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 righteous person, for the victims. Um it's the whole world's corrupted, right? Everything's corrupted. No matter where you go, it's all about the money, and everything's corrupted. And so you're already, and it ain't getting better. It ain't getting better. And you better take a look at the grocery store shelves, because I'm going to tell you what, I've been looking at them. And they say, oh, our country don't have no food shortage and this. Yeah, we do. We got a big food shortage. I remember when you go into grocery stores, you know, you could go into grocery stores. I remember going into the grocery stores and they were packed full. The shelves were packed full. But yeah, And now go into the grocery stores. Go into the grocery stores now. Like, I'm going to tell you, there's no food there. There's really no food. And what food is there? And it smells awful, right? It's like the produce is secondhand. Um, they don't have very much, they don't pack many canned goods. Um, it's not like it used to be. It isn't like it used to be. And there is definitely a severe shortage of, of food. And it's looking like it's getting worse. That's my opinion. Um, for people that do know how, for people that do know how to, um, buy the food up that can be stored for many years and stuff like that. Um, I suggest doing it. I suggest doing it because I got a feeling I got a feeling the grocery stores are going to be pretty empty, you know, pretty soon. So, because it went from 100%, it went from 100% down, over the C word. It went down 100% to, well, it actually was going down before the C word. It went down probably about 25% before the C word. It went down about 50% after the C word. And I'd say it's gone down probably around 60% now, maybe more, you know. And so, like, you've got like a 40%, you got like a 40%, maybe a 40% of products in these stores trying to feed all of America, you know. So I say take heed. Take heed. Oh wow, they're finding rubber blueberries in the canisters for real, Carolina? I didn't hear that. I didn't hear about that. They are finding rubber blueberries in the canisters. Please watch out for them, especially when your toddler or children are eating. Whoa, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Like I said, when I come on here, I have content. I have content ready to consume our time each night. And sometimes I go into left field, and I don't know why I go into left field. I don't even know why I do. But I'm going to tell you, most of the time when we do, God takes us into that left field. You find out stuff you didn't know, right? You find out things you didn't know. And maybe tonight, this right here might save somebody. Might save somebody. Might save a child, because people know to look out for this now. So hey, like I said, God has a reason he's got a reason for everything we do. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And yes, from Whole Foods supermarket and any supermarket. Oh wow. Um, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, and did you hear about the ice cream recall? They have it had an ice cream recall because the label somebody was telling me about that today, said that the ice cream has been recalled because it's not cookies and cream. I guess it's like peanut ice cream, and are telling people to bring it back and to them because a lot of people have peanut allergies, right? And they got this peanut ice cream labeled under cookies and cream, I guess. And that's that's really bad, right? So look out for that, you guys. Hey, I appreciate that, Brat. Number one. Hey, Brat's number one. Welcome in, everyone. Please hit the thumbs up for Summer's channel. Let's keep her name and face out here on these streets. Don't forget to sub up, share the live out. Thank you, Ager. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Yeah, if you ain't hit the thumbs up, please do. It helps. It helps these, channels to keep going for these missing kids. So please hit it. If you haven't. It just takes a second. Hey Cindy, how you doing, sweetie? Justice for Summer. Amen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, I want to tell you, I love Trump. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. And I respect everybody's view, but I love Trump. I love what he's doing for our country. I love he's trying to make our country safe again and get all of these, these people that shouldn't be here out of here. Some very bad people, very bad people. They should never been here, but they was. He's getting them out. I really appreciate everything that he is doing, for us in our country. Absolutely. I appreciate it. God bless him. God bless him. May God be with him. May God be with him and protect him. He needs it. But yes, I appreciate it all. He is a good president. He's a very good president. He cares about, the America and the American people. He cares about us. And he's trying to make our country strong again. Our country was getting weak. We were looking weak in the eyes of everybody. And when you look weak in the eyes of everyone, then they start thinking they can overtake you. And we can't allow that. We can't allow that. Your country becomes weak, you're in trouble. We have to be strong. We have to, do what we got to do. America's always been strong doing what we need to do. And, and it needs to stay that way. And Trump's bringing that back. He's bringing that back because, we lost it for a second. We lost it. And we need to bring it back, just the way it is. It says cowards ain't getting into heaven. Cowardly people, they're not going to get into heaven. You got to stand strong, and you got to stand firm in your beliefs. You got to stand up. It ain't about people. Humans shouldn't worry about fear. You think other people ain't afraid? They are. They just know how to overcome it. You know what brave is? Brave is overcoming your fear. That's what brave is. It does it. It's brave isn't not being afraid. Brave is not being afraid to be afraid. That's what it's all about. Just saying. But I also heard Ernie is in the hospital, you guys. Who else has heard this? I heard that he's supposed to be in a hospital. I did write him. I did try to get a hold of him. I haven't heard anything back from him. One of our mods said that she checked all the hospitals. She couldn't find him. Um, but I guess I heard his sister came out. His sister came out supposedly and said that, that he was in a really bad accident. Supposedly he's in the hospital. Um, okay. Yeah, I've been hearing it. I've been hearing that too. And if it's true, let us pray. Let us pray that, everything goes well and that, and Ernie pulls through this, pulls through it. And we got to pray, pray that God's with him and he pulls through it and comes back stronger than before, right? And just comes back stronger than before. You know, I sure do pray. I pray in the name of, the holy name of Jesus that he's okay. I love Ernie. I really do. We've had our differences and that's what happens out here. That's what happens out here in the YouTube community. You have your differences with people here and there. But you also got to understand that, we're all seeking information and sometimes even though we don't want to hurt people, you know, um, we might have to in order to get the information we're seeking and just hope they understand. We gotta hope they understand that, we can't let down our guard or do anything to mess up the information coming through. And and sometimes wedges like that can get between us. But, you know, at some point we get over it and we move on and we understand, it happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us, we do it and we get it done to us. And it takes a while to understand how YouTube works, but once you do understand, you don't hold nothing against nobody because that's the way it is. And you just move forth. But I do pray for him, and I definitely love this guy, and he really is for the missing kids, regardless of what people say. I know this guy works hard for these missing kids, especially Summer. He was working super hard for Summer, and I appreciated that. Every last one of us. That's right. Every last one of us. Like Jesus said, he without sin cast the first stone. Let him without sin cast that first stone. They none of us can cast the first stone now, can we? Absolutely not. Not a one of us can cast no first stone. But and the whales came out with this letter right here. A lot of people are saying PG. Donnie Candace went and visited the boys. No, this is they're talking about old. I wanted to clear that up tonight. Um, they're talking about back when they lost their visitation right. A lot of people think that they recently went and seen the boys. No, they didn't. They ain't allowed to see the boys. The boys are adopted out. Two of the boys are completely adopted. The other one don't want to go home and still looking for a home, I guess. Um, but the Wells put this out. Josie Wyatt Whalen. Um, they only allowed us to see you at a noisy pizza place, and they said we couldn't talk with you, but could only play games. We are so sorry they treated you this way. What? What do you mean you're so sorry they treated you that way? I'm going to tell you, I took my kids to pizza places where there's games, right? And let me tell you right now, I took my kids to arcades. I've took them to pizza shops with games. I've took them, to all of these places. And let me tell you something about my kids. When you go in there, your kids don't want to talk to you about anything other than, hey, can you get me some more of whatever it takes to play these games, right? And that's the only time you see them. That's the only time you see them is when they need to re up on playing the games, right? That's the only time you're going to see your kids. They don't want to talk to you. They want to have a great time. They want to have fun, right? And Don and Candace wanted to talk. Don wanted to talk to the oldest boy and tell the oldest boy, obviously, to keep the other two in check, right? Because the oldest boy was, you know, that's why the oldest boy ain't adopted along with the other two, because I think Don and Candace was trying to make that boy, into the parent, into the parent of the other two to keep their mouth shut, about how horrible it was being on 110 Ben Hill Road, to put fear in the other two boys, the way Don wanted him to, you know, and Don Wells looked at that oldest boy as his little roll dog, and that and something that he could put up to no good all the time. And I think he was putting that boy up to no good. And the reason that they cut off their um visitation with the boys is because Don was told not to be taking the boys off and talking to them, but he kept taking Josie off. Not Wyatt or Waylon. He kept taking Josie off and talking to him and saying stuff to him. And that's why their visitation got limited to just phone calls. And then they lost the phone calls. They lost the phone calls because Candace decided to liquor herself up and call the foster home where the boys were, to call them, and all liquored up, and they got that took away from them too. So everything they got took away from them was their own fault. Don and Candace don't know how to take self blame for their evilness, for their own evilness. If they would have treated their children right and really gave a crap about their children would be with them now, right? Their children wouldn't be anywhere else. They'd be at home if they knew how to be real parents. They didn't know how to be parents, and that is exactly why, one kid's missing and the other three are in foster care, right? Well, one's in foster care, the other two's been adopted out. But all the other three's gone. So blame nobody but yourself, Dawn, Candace. Don't write some BS stuff out here that we're sorry they treated you this way. No, Child Protective Services should have been treating the boys this way long before Summer came up missing. Summer should have been one of them getting treated this way as well. Summer should have been there, in a better home, a better place, being able to say, hey, please don't take me, don't put me back there. Summer should have been there, able to say that too. And those boys didn't want to return home on their own reconnaissance, right? They didn't. Don even came out and said Candace was upset because the boys didn't want to come back. Do you remember that? The boys told their own parents, we don't want to come home. We don't want to come back to that hellhole. We don't want to come back to that freaking abuse. We don't want to come back to that $1 store fucking pizza a day lifestyle. We don't want to come back where everybody, soon as Don Wells is getting off of work, mommy's already had too much, and she's still drinking more, and he's about to get home and start doing some really evil stuff as well with illegal substances, and they don't want to be around that. They don't want to be around a pack of people who do not care about them, but only care about entertaining themselves with liquor and illegal stuff that you ain't supposed to have. Well, they can afford all of that, but they can't afford a decent food for their children. These kids are going on one meal a day, a dollar store pizza. They don't want to go back to that. They don't want to go back to, that dirt hole where they were itching and scratching and getting their all of their hair removed all the time because mommy's too lazy to clean the place up and keep it clean. Mommy's too lazy to check their heads every day when they come home from school to make sure that, they haven't got anything that's going to, interrupt their sleep or interrupt, their lifestyle of living clean and wholesome and good, right? They didn't do it. It's just how it is. Yeah, those kids hit the lottery. Absolutely. They hit the lottery getting out of there and they don't want to go back. And I don't blame them, right? I don't blame them. I, you know, um, why are the wells still free? Well, I'm going to tell you, because law enforcement dropped the ball from day one. When law enforcement went up there, they dropped the ball. They didn't handle it like a crime scene. They handle it like everybody knows everybody, and we know these people. We know these good old country folks, and this child's probably just out there somewhere. We're gonna find her, bring her back, and they messed the whole damn crime scene up before they realized, they should have handled it differently. That's what happened. They weren't equipped. They weren't equipped to do, to handle a case like Summer because they hadn't ever have one. They didn't ever have a missing kid like that. There hasn't ever been a case like this. But also, they didn't ever have Don and Candace Wells living in their presence, did they? They didn't ever meet anything like what came out of Arkansas into Tennessee. They had no idea, no damn idea how evil these people were. No idea. You know, Ronnie Lawson and Pruitt and all of them, they were used to dealing with these country bumpkins that would do a lot of things. They do a whole lot of things, but they wouldn't go as far as what happened on Ben Hill Road. That's what I'm saying is, you know when a child came up missing or lost around there, they pretty much knew where it was, where it might have went, and they got it, found it, bring it back. you know um they didn't ever deal with nothing like this. This was completely outside their jurisdiction, as far as being able to handle the case like that. And they messed it all up. And they're trying to rebound. And they're doing a good job. They've got some information. Some information's coming in, right now. There's information coming in that, that they might be able to use to rebound from all of this. And I hope they do. Anyway, um, it says, so we're so sorry they treated you that way. Um, then when we asked a question they didn't like, they cut us off letting us visit you. We are so sorry. Please focus on God. You know what? I'm sure they are focused on God, on Candace, Don Wells, and whoever wrote this. I'm sure they are focused on God. They're probably looking up every single day, thanking God that they got the hell out of that place over there at 110, and they've been placed somewhere that's actually normal and kind and caring and loving. And they're actually at a place where they're not itching and scratching and sleeping in dirty filth nastiness, and they're getting 3 meals a day. They're getting snacks. They're getting brand new, not thrift store or yard sale clothes, so mommy and daddy could uh, do more illegal substances, but they're actually getting brand new shoes, brand new clothes, they're, real haircuts, and, and they're staying clean and healthy and well, and they're happy. And they're happy. And they got people that say, hey, I love you. I care about you. You're doing a great job. You're going to become somebody in the future. And they're building them up and not tearing them down the way they got done at 110. So I'm sure they're focused on God and thanking Him that, that God got them out of there. Absolutely. So they're very much focused on God for sure. We each know how much we love each other. I don't think those. I don't think if those kids knew how much you all loved each other, they would have wanted to come home, and they didn't. And they didn't. So these kids didn't know how much anybody loved each other. And those kids are smart enough to know, Dawn and Candace, that you're nothing but blowhards. They know you're blowhards. These kids know you better than anyone else. They know you're bullshit. They know all of y'all's bullshit. And they're not buying it anymore. They're not buying it. They want nothing to do with it. Why don't they just leave these kids alone? Why can't Don and Candace just leave these kids alone and let these kids live a good life, have a good life, and be what Don and Candace couldn't ever be? Why don't they let them achieve what they couldn't ever achieve? And Don and Candace didn't achieve anything because they didn't want to. They didn't want to. These kids do. So leave them alone, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don was jealous. I asked him. I said, it was Christmas time. I said, are you and Candace going to get, because they had tons of money coming in. And Candace had a big fucking wish list, but she didn't have one thing on there for the boys. Not one thing there on there for the boys. No Christmas gifts for the boys. Nothing. And I said, are you guys going to, and I knew was getting all that money and stuff, remember, because Jody Sue was wanting her share of it. And I said, are you guys going to go out shopping, get a bunch of gifts for the boys? And Don's like, we ain't buying them nothing. I said, what? He said, yeah. He said, they don't need nothing from us. They're getting plenty of stuff where they're at. Those people's giving them everything. Why should we give them anything? I was like, whoa. Right? That was freaking jaw dropping. Like, what the hell? You ain't buying your kids nothing for Christmas? I mean, I would want my kids to have what I give them, not what somebody else gives them, right? I would want to give them the stuff. I would want to give them the toys to play with. I would want to give them what they want for Christmas. I would want to give them new clothes and new shoes, and I would want to buy everything for my children. I don't want other people doing it. I don't want no handouts. And I don't even want to hand up. Right? Those are my kids. I need to be taking care of them, but not Don and Candace. Don and Candace say, they don't say these are my kids. I need to be taking care of them. Don and Candace say, I ain't giving them shit. They're with child protective services. Let them raise them. Let them buy for them. Let them do for them. We're going to take all this money and we're going to buy new phones for us, and we're buy computers for us, and we're going to, buy surveillance cameras for us, and we're going to do everything for us. We're going to get all the illegal substance we want now, and we're going to get all the booze we want, and we're going to get all the cigarettes we want. We're going to live it up. We're going to eat where we want and do what we want and how we want, and and we're going to buy tons of gas to run here and to run there and stay with this person and stay with that person. We're just going to live it up and do what we please. And I'm going to tell you something. They didn't do nothing for those boys because they were loving everybody supporting them and all the money coming in. They were loving spending it all on themselves. And they didn't give them boys a second thought until now. Until now, right? When there ain't no money coming in, they ain't shit coming in. They ain't nobody giving a shit about Don and Candace no more. Now, now they want to try to stir the pot with the boys, hoping, to try to suck some people in and get some more money flow, some more, some more support because it's all ran out. And I'm going to tell you something. They ain't nobody going to be doing it. Nobody's going to be doing it. Nobody supports that shit no more. We all know that those kids are adopted out and they ain't getting them back. We know that, the reason they got that paperwork is because there was no kids to worry about. Of course they can't, of course they can't put no on, child abuse or anything on you when there's no kids there anymore to claim it upon. That's how they got the paperwork. There's no kids there. That's basically Child Protective Services saying there's no kids here for us to be, to be claiming anything on. You don't have no kids. And therefore, since you have no kids, we don't want nothing else to do with you either. Get on down the road. Get on down the road with yourselves. This case is done. It's over. The kids are adopted out. The other boy don't want to come home. He could be emancipated, but he don't want to be. He'd rather stay where he's at until he, ages out and then, learns a trade and starts living a good life of his own. He don't want to go back there. He don't want to go back to that place that, messed him up so bad that it took a lot of people to straighten him out. He don't want that life no more. He don't want to go and hang with two people that, that was leading him down the wrong path way too, young. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I know a lot of substance abuse users. I used to be in a whole cesspool of them, right? When you're from the hood, you live in a cesspool of these people. And I'm going to tell you something about those people. They weren't trying to give their kids nothing. I tell you what, even I have seen a lot of these people that do illegal substances, and they tell their kids to stay away from it. They send their kids to school. They try to get their kids educated. They try to keep their kids the hell away from that. Have nothing to do with it. They want their kids to be, drug free. No substances at all, ever. They do not want their kids ending up like them. And they try to give their kids a better life because they know what that life is doing to them. And Don and Candace wasn't even that damn intelligent, was they? They wasn't even that smart. They didn't even have that much brains. I know a lot of parents that, that smoke. And they're like, oh no, my kids ain't going to smoke. Not my kids. This is a bad habit. I wish I didn't pick it up, and I ain't about to let my kids do it. Real parents try to save their children from the mistakes that they made because they love their kids. You're supposed to love your children. Don and Candace didn't love their kids if they're handing the oldest boy, if Don is, handing the oldest boy illegal substances at freaking 12, 13 years old, he doesn't love his son. He's trying to turn his son into a full-time worker for somebody, for somebody distributing that kind of stuff. When you got habits like that, man, you're not working for your home and nice cars and nice clothes and nice stuff. You're working for some dealer to have all of those things. And that dealer is laughing. That dealer depends on you being dependent on the crap they're putting out. Hey, PG's little girl. Good to see you. Good to see you. But then he goes on. They might have a bad, messed up system, but it never shook our love for you. And we know you love us and all your Wells relatives. God always wins forever, Mom and Dad. Yeah, God won. God won. He sent a little girl here to be an angel for her brothers. He sent a little girl here that paid the price so those boys could be where they're at today, living a better life. God won. Yeah, absolutely, Amanda. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. And daddy and mommy, it wasn't enough that the supplier was getting everything of theirs. They was wanting to make sure that suppliers got everything of their children's as well, right? Because what? Misery loves company, and Don and Kansas are miserable as hell. They're just miserable. They're miserable human beings, if you ask me. That's my opinion. I will keep it. And I'm going to tell you, as far as Fred Hill has all to hide. All to hide. I think we know it. I think we've seen it. That's my opinion too. I think Fred Hill is guilty as fucking hell in all of this as well. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. Fred Hill wants to, he got out of Ben Hill Road and he wants to portray himself as, as somebody he's not. Well, I'm going to tell you, I think we all know what he is and where he came from and what the hell he was doing. And, and he's not going to get away from that just by leaving Ben Hill Road and moving somewhere else. He ain't going to get all of that off of his back. Absolutely not. And I suspect at some point he'll probably be arrested as well. That's my opinion. I think old Fred will end up at some point getting picked up as well. That's just my opinion. I'm going to keep it. But I was playing the Marlena video for you guys. I told you I'd bring it back in tonight. And I did. And I did. So I'm going to let you guys listen to it because I'm going to tell you, I don't think anybody knew Fred Hill as good as Marina Crawford. Her and her brother Ricky, man, they knew everybody. They knew everybody and anybody because they were dependent upon that illegal stuff as well. And they were crawling into every crack where that stuff was being manufactured, right? And they know Fred very, very well. And I'm going to tell you, Marlena told some good stuff on good old Freddie boy. Trust and believe me, she sure did. Last time she saw Summer was around Mother's Day. She
No, I saw Summer the Tuesday evening that they came and picked her up. That was the last day I seen her, and she went missing the following Tuesday. Was the last time I seen Summer alive and well.
And do you guys remember the swimming pool Fred kept talking about? The big swimming pool he seen that he saw Jody Sue's boy in with Summer. Remember that big swimming pool? Put a one in the chat if you remember Fred talking about that swimming, that particular pool that was up there in the Wells yard. Oh, yeah. You remember that? Absolutely. I'm going to tell you. And Fred was like, and I don't know what happened in that swimming pool because when I went back up there, that swimming pool was gone. Remember him saying that stuff? I'm going to tell you. I bet you. Fred Hill's the reason that swimming pool was gone. I bet Fred Hill's the one that told Don and Candace they better be doing away with that pool with what, with some of the stuff that was going on in it. They needed to get rid of it, right? Because it could be taken into evidence. And, and there was some really disgusting things happening. So I bet you because he's the one was focused on that pool. Candace wasn't focused on it. Donald wasn't focused on it. Andy, Jody Sue, none of them were focused on that pool. But Fred sure the hell was. And it seemed like, he was, and it seemed like when he went up there, he must have been, he felt like he was standing in line behind Jody Sue's son to be the next one in the pool. That's what it sounds like to me. That's just my opinion. But I'm going to tell you something. He was the one so damn focused on that freaking pool and the stuff going on in that pool and then that pool being gone. And I bet you 10 to 1 he's the one. I bet you. He is the one that made sure that pool got taken out of there. Because he felt that it could be taken into evidence. Just saying. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. Yeah, they've been doing that. Absolutely. Oh, PG's little girl. I appreciate that, girl. Love you, Mama PG. Hey, girl, I love you too. You know it. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, look who we have in here. Oh, shits and giggles back, right? Oh, shits and giggles. I'm going to tell you something. I told you that we won't put up with that with your crap no more. So shits and giggle, you just got a steel toe boot. We ain't doing that over here no more. We ain't doing it no more. Right? We're not gonna we don't go that route over here any longer. Absolutely not. We ain't going to, we ain't about to. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Yeah, right. When you was up there cooking for them, did they eat like they were super hungry?
They always ate like they were super hungry, like they were starved all the time.
Did you ever see Candace just giving them frozen pizzas?
Yes, a lot. And drinking gallons and gallons of chocolate milk. Nothing else but chocolate milk. They wasn't allowed when the chocolate milk was gone. They would scream for more chocolate milk. They wasn't allowed. And hundreds of off-brand soda pop. I mean, them kids, they went through some groceries in a day's time. Because when I kept them up there or whatever, watched them or helped her watch.
Hey, Donna, I appreciate you becoming a YouTube member, girl. God bless. Much love. Absolutely.
Watch them. You know, I've never denied my kid any food. I've never denied my kid anything to drink, whatever. I always got it for them,
Did
whether
you
I was going to get jumped on or not.
did you ever see did you ever by any chance see um Candace messing around with, I mean, we know Jose, from what Jose said, Candace, confided in him that she was the first one to, that she groomed and was the first one to sleep around with Hunter, which at that particular time was like a
No,
13-year-old boy.
she wasn't, Hunter wasn't the first boy that she slept with underage.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you do hold
There's
knowledge.
there was one more, but I'm not going to put his name out there because
Oh,
it ain't
no,
fair because
no.
he hasn't came to light.
They want me to ask you, how long was it after Summer went missing? Like a couple of days, week, a month, before Donald came around and told your dad that, that about sacrificing Summer for his sins.
Within 4 days.
It was within 4 days. Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. And I'm going to play that 911 call for you, so you can hear that, Marlena, since you haven't heard it. Okay.
Okay. I had to tell her to call 911, right? She wasn't going to report her missing to begin with, right?
Right. This is the 911 call when Summer was hollering, screaming for the help. That Jose had, the whole 911 call was because Jose seen some things in the shower that, he.
Now,
and
Jose is dead too now, right?
Yes. As soon as they figured out where he was, he ended up dead. Yes.
See, so Jose died, so did Cotton. Cotton got disposed of too.
Cotton died.
I mean, I don't care.
Cotton died. Jose died. Allison died. Leslie died. Another lady died as well that was trying to save a little girl, trying to take it to his grandmother.
So there's not many of us that knows the inside story that's still alive, right?
Absolutely, yeah, pretty much so. And I'll tell you another thing. She pulls up. She sees Summer coming, with nothing on whatsoever, being thrown out of the shower.
And
and
that
she doesn't call 911.
She also told me in a store one night that Fred Hill is the one that went against me and that she had paperwork and everything for them to take my kid.
What?
She said she had proof that Fred Hill went against me to take my youngin'. It was a plot of getting my youngin' taken away. So wait a minute, was it really Fred Hill? Because me and Fred Hill was on good terms at one time. And it wasn't Fred Hill. It was her and Andy B and Candace and Dawn sucking this
Absolutely.
up and trying to get her taken away from me. And let me just congratulate you all. Y'all did it perfectly. You got her taken away. But you know what? It'll be hell or high water if I don't get her back. What I don't understand is, let's just put this out there. My sister-in-law is a Hawkins County's cop's daughter. Bitch, she was with me the night that you come up and said you had shit on Fred Hill about him plotting against me. Bitch, I got witnesses where we was. Where's your witness at?
Right?
Where's it at there, Jody Sue? Oh, wait, you don't have none. You don't have nobody to cover that ass for you, do you? Boyfriend's already put a ring on something else. She's the one that was closer to him. She was the one getting paid off, getting her nails done and everything else with the money was coming in down there. Marlena didn't receive any. The Lips also said that I wouldn't know what time she went missing. She said that I would not know the phone call that I got from Candace, and the story that I told was not true. The story that I told when you all asked me, she was in the kitchen cooking. That's the story that it was originally that she told me. And somebody said today also that Dawn was 45 minutes away, that he called 911 from his cell phone, and so did she. I don't know if that was the truth or not, but I know that she wasn't going to call the police because she went missing. I told her if she didn't call, I was calling. And that's exactly what I said. And she went missing. She got home at 3:20 that day. Okay. Well, I didn't get a call till 4:30. And she had already been missing in that much of a time. And then they didn't call the police until like 6:30. So there's almost a 2 to 3 hour difference of her being missing. So at this time, they've had time to bury her, get rid of her, and do whatever, like Andy said when he texted Candace and said it's done. They know exactly what it is. I'm just putting that out there because some people were saying that I'm lying, that I wasn't telling the truth on that. Yes, I am telling the truth on that. Because she said that she was missing, and I said, if you don't pick up the phone right now and call the law, I will.
Right. Well, I think it was all planned out. That's my opinion.
I was looking at your Facebook today, and where you had circled some things in that, like that picture. I hadn't really noticed it before until I really zoomed in to see what you had circled. That baby's dead on that milk. That baby is dead on that milk.
I believe so. I truly, I truly believe that, yes, very much so.
My opinion. That's my opinion too. I do believe, because the way you circled that stuff and seeing that, because you know what? Once you see a dead person, I felt my daddy dead. So once you see a dead person and see how blue they are and what spots they're blue in and all that, and how their fingernails and stuff changes and all that, you know. And you know what? I was going through Miss PG's Facebook thing when she's posted pictures up of Summer laying on the milk jugs. I had actually zoomed in and seen where she had circled it. Okay, well, my dad had the same blue spots, black spots like that. His fingernails was blue. His mouth was blue. I mean, I found my dad dead, and I found enough. I worked at home health care, so therefore I've found a couple of my patients dead, but not like being really up close. So either I've been told that they had died or been there, you know what I mean? Like right after they die and seen how much they changed color and all that. And the way you posted that picture up and circled them certain spots, yeah, she's dead on them milk jugs.
The reason these people are acting this way, Marlena, is because of this. It's because of this.
Critters on the farm. Before that, I spent a bunch of time on prayer gardens, and then now I'm talking to you all.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that. Yeah, there's all kinds of people that I suspect. You've been up here. You know what it's like up here. I mean, I wish I would have drove you around and showed you a lot of shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been all around the area. I drove all around the area. And you told me there was a girl that you suspected when I had talked to you that was coming around that hung out with some riffraff. And what was her name? Alina or something like that?
Marina Crawford. And I have no qualms about spreading her name, because the fact of the matter is, the bitch come up here with Bobby Dice when she knew exactly, because we was trying to help her at the time, and we give her all kinds of money. We done everything we could to help her. We babysitted her daughter. She'd come up here and dump her fucking daughter off. Sorry, I don't mean to say it like that. Sorry, my bad. Excuse me, please. But she'd come up here and bring her daughter up here. She's a precious little girl, beautiful little girl. And she would just dump her off here for weeks at a time while she went out and done her dope or whatever the hell she done. And I didn't have a problem with that, but she was taking advantage of us. And then when she knew where me and Candace were at a certain point in time, she bought her cousin or whoever she is, a friend, Bobby Dykes, up here, and they stole every tool out of my shed that they could and everything that they could steal.
And you said she was like living in a homeless camp or something at one point or something like that on the road?
Well, I mean, her husband, he's in the meth and everything.
And Don, Candace, show the receipts. Show the receipts where you called law enforcement and reported Marlena and Bobby Dice stealing all this stuff from your shed. Show the police report, because there is none. Right? There is none, because it didn't happen. It didn't happen. The reason you wanted to come out and you wanted to destroy Marlena's credibility was because Marlena was telling the truth, talking and telling the truth about Candace telling her at around 4:30 that Summer was already missing. That she's missing. And you and Candace didn't want Marlena running her mouth about the 2-hour lapse in calling law enforcement. You didn't want her telling all of these people how you and Candace were up to something in between that time, covering up what had took place at the water hole. Right? In my opinion, Candace got up that morning, used Grandis's knee in order to take Summer and go into Kingsport to pick up Hunter. And they planned on taking that little girl to that particular horse pond in the middle of nowhere, because they've been there many times and they knew it was super secluded. And they knew it wouldn't be hard to get that boy to destroy this little girl out there in that water. And that's what he was walking out there to do, in my opinion. And in my opinion, he did it. And she laid on a wet pillow against the back driver's side door, an innocent 5-year-old little baby girl that done nothing to no one, that got used, abused, tortured, not just walked, but drugged through hell in her 5 short little years. And she was trying to make the best of that hell she lived in as well. Just like her brothers. Tried to make the best of it because they knew nothing else. And that little girl laid on that driver's side door with no movement all the way through the pharmacy, all the way through Walgreens to pick up grandma's prescription, all the way through Sonic's to get ices. As a matter of fact, they bought a 4th one that she didn't even get to drink. And they bought the same kind that Hunter loved because Hunter could drink too. And then they went to that store so they could gaslight the boys when they got home. They needed some food to gaslight the boys because they'd be real damn hungry. And they wouldn't be paying attention to nothing but just trying to get something to eat. And they knew it. And they stopped by Allison's place. And that's where that little girl got packed in my opinion, and cleaned up and dressed up and made up and propped up on those milk jugs. And that's why Hunter was in the bedroom with his knees knocking, his hands shaking, his teeth shattering, and its mother freaking hair sticking up, and wasn't acting right nor normal. Because who in the hell could, after doing such a horrible, dirty deed for dirty Candace? Right? That's my opinion. I will keep it. And when they got back to the house, the boys did get gaslighted up. Marlena did call because Chad was waiting down at Fred's, and Candace had to get down there and follow him out of the holler to wherever they put Summer. And everybody heard Candace say black tote, which we're going to talk about tomorrow night. We're going to talk about the box because you know what? I've been doing some research and something has came to my attention that I'd like to share with y'all. I think you're going to be mighty surprised when I do. Now, let me tell you. Did Marlena know that Candace was following Chad out of there to go do something with Summer? I don't think at the time she did, but I think she knows now. I believe that Marlena, has thought back on everything. I think she's starting to put the puzzle together, how she was asked to, to call Candace and for Chad. And I think she's putting the puzzle together, and then Candace went ahead and, slipped up and told Marlena, oh, Summer's missing, as an excuse to be meeting up with Chad. He's going to help look for her or something. And Marlena's like, you need to call the police. You don't need to go meet Chad. You need to go call the police. And Candace is like, not right now, Marlena. Well, if you don't, I will. And Marlena did call back. She did call back and ask Candace if Summer had been found. Did she need to come up there? She did call back. I think Marlena is one of those, dense kind of people that just doesn't get what's going on. She doesn't know how to connect the dots. That's my opinion. I think she's starting to. But at the time, she didn't know how to connect all of these dots of everything going on. So, Candace went on down. She met, she done gaslighted the boys to believe Summer was somewhere around there. They kept thinking outside, because they didn't ever see her inside. And Candace went on and, took Summer down there, met up with this Chad. And I believe that her and Chad left Ben Hill Road out onto Beach Creek, and I believe they went right over to Morrison Cemetery, where there was an open grave. And I truly believe if that grave, and I hear they're going to someone's supposed to be doing some, they're going to use one of those scanners to scan that grave. And actually, they're going to try to scan the whole graveyard, I hear. But, they got it. Well, they got the, the device to get it done. But, I think they're going to find Summer. And when they do find Summer, there's going to be people going to prison. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. I do know the ball started rolling when Morrison Cemetery came up and people were, and there's also some other things, that came out about this Chad Arnold and so forth and so on, which, we'll get into later, later this week. But there's other things that came out about Chad Arnold as well, and places that, he seemed to be holding up at. And, and he was one of them stocking the cemetery up. He was stocking that cemetery up over there. He's keeping a close eye on that cemetery. And when people keep a close eye on something, then there must be something there that they're afraid is going to be found. So, and that gives it away. He was giving it away when he was stocking it up. So that's a real eye-opener right there. Yeah. But Marlena, I believe she is putting everything together. And I don't think law enforcement wants Marlena for, you know, involvement. I think they're wanting Marlena more or less for, I think they're looking for her and they're wanting her more for, to solidify some information they've already got. They're just wanting her to stabilize everything. Um, that they already have before they start to make some moves. And I think that's what Fred was afraid of. I think that's what he was afraid of when he was tracking every inch of Marlena's movements there for a while. And Don Wells was, I think they were trying to intimidate when Don was down flying around Marlena's mother's house, and Fred was tracking their every moves, and Laura was showing up to make sure they were somewhere, and Andy, following. I think they were trying to intimidate them, and I think Marlena and her brother and sister, I think they knew what they were trying to do to them. That's just my opinion, but I think that somebody was already talking to law enforcement anyway. um you know so all of what they did, they shouldn't have been doing. And and I don't think that, I don't think that the ball would be rolling like it is right now on Summer's case with law enforcement. But um criminals always mess up. They always mess up because they're not smarter than law enforcement. They're not smart at all, to be honest with you. But they sure to hell ain't smarter than law enforcement. Hey, mermaid, it's okay. Good to see you. Good to see you in here. God bless. Much love.
And they, they have some hard times. I mean, her mother has custody of her kid right now. I'm not going to mention her name or anything, but her mother has custody of her kid right now. She's out doing dope with her.
See, Don Wells was trying to, and he thought that Marlena's daughter, he said her kid's with her mother. No. See, he thought she was. And he was trying to intimidate. I think that it was all intimidation. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Do you hear that?
Let's just elaborate on that. You want to?
Go right ahead.
For one, you need to keep my damn daughter's name out your mouth. For two, I never drop my kid off on them sorry pieces of shit anytime and let them keep her but one damn time. For two, I'm not married to her daddy. I have never been married to her daddy. That is a lie straight up out of his fucking mouth. Bobby Dykes is not my cousin. He is like a brother to me. He was one of the boys that ran with several of our family members. He did not steal anything off of him. And yeah, Donnie Wells, I am a bitch. And no, I've never lived in a homeless shelter. You're just so friggin' goddamn stupid. You're stupid as hell. You lie every time that fucking mouth of yours opens. Every damn time. I wasn't doing the dope. You didn't give me all kinds of money. I came up there and I worked my ass off for you. I worked my ass off for your bitch ass old lady that wouldn't get up off of her fucking sorry ass to do any goddamn thing. Not to wash dishes, not to wash clothes, not to wash your fucking ball sack. She would do nothing for you. You would bitch on her all the time because the house wasn't clean. Goddamn, Candace, can't you clean this house? What the fuck is she doing here? Motherfucker, don't think I don't remember. I remember you cussing me like a dog and you didn't even know that I was there until after I came up from the basement and up out of your little poison island right there that you sitting down to the basement to build over a little desk thing to put your big TV up there and your sound system and all that. While you all was out fucking drinking R&R and partying it up. You kids running around wide awake while y'all are down there in the bed passed out. You're a lying sack of fucking shit. You never gave me money. I don't know where the fuck you get that. I worked for my money. I work daily for my money. 20 totes of laundry. Matter of fact, washing your damn dishes, feeding your precious kids, because your old lady couldn't even get up off of her fucking sorry ass to fix them a frozen damn pizza. Wouldn't even get off of her sorry ass to pour a glass of chocolate milk for them because they would drink it straight out the fucking jug. You all are sorry individuals. Very sorry individuals. Yep. But like I said last night in the live, if she was fixing her mama's knee brace and the basement door, if you see any of them videos, that basement door is almost lined up with her mama's front door of that camper. She would have seen anybody that was coming in there to get Candace, Candace would see them come in and get Summer whatsoever, because she would come out the bottom of that door. There ain't no way else out there but that one side door, and it's straight in that vision of where she was fixing her mama's knee brace. That was a lie for rule one. They probably planted that within the 3 hours or the 2.5 hours she was missing, so that would look like a good story. My story was told that she told me that she was playing on the swing and she's in the kitchen cooking something to eat. And then it went totally different. The 911 call said that she took a walk and mama returned back and Summer Wells was nowhere to be found. That's wrong too, because the bitch never walked anywhere. Ever. So she had to make up a different story because she was afraid that I would come forward and tell them that story. And then after they know that the police talked to me and I told them exactly what she said, they were trying to figure out who was telling the right story.
And Fred Hill, and Laura, and you, and the Light brothers, and Allison, Hunter, True. He threw Mr. Dobbs under the bus.
Has he said anything about my dad?
Well, your dad passed away. He didn't get a chance on that one, but he probably would have if he could have.
He better not have. He better not.
He threw you, your boyfriend, and your brother under the bus. I mean, Don Wells has thrown everybody. He even threw Wayne Morlock under the bus. Man, was that a big mistake. And he throwed YouTubers under the bus. And he throwed CPS under the bus. And somebody even said he threw Donald Trump under the bus. All right.
You know something? Has he said anything about see, he don't even know. I don't even think he knows that there's 4 of us as a family members.
Oh yeah, and Cotton. Absolutely.
Bobby's not my brother, by the way. Bobby is like a brother. There's a difference. And I never did take Bobby up to his house for him to steal his tools. I never did. Ever. He's the one accusing people of stealing stuff, taking stuff, sneaking on his property, tripping the hell out on the drugs that he was on all the time.
How do you feel about Fred Hill?
Well, that's a deep subject for one.
Well, let's go deep.
Go deep, okay? How deep you want to go?
Hey, girl, all the way to hell if necessary. Let's do it.
Well, Fred Hill didn't like me back in the day. He shot at the road at me while I was riding a 4-wheeler off the side of the mountain up there from a teepee that goes on past his house that it wasn't even his land. That is where Bobby Dykes' daddy got shot over a backhoe. And past that on up, and you go on up in the side of the mountain, there is a teepee on the side of the mountain up there that nobody knows anything about unless you've been from Beach Creek. And then you know about it because you can either ride a horse there or you can ride a 4-wheeler there. We was riding one day and it was getting late. It was about dark. We was coming out of that holler, Fred Hill heard the box come off the hill, and he shoots at the road twice. At me and my cousin Bill Shipley, that everybody calls, Billy Boy, whatever they call him.
So Shipley is her cousin. And he's one of them that also was running around in that particular area during that particular time that all of this evilness was taking place at 110 Ben Hill Road. Why do you think Candace wanted Little Summer to be on live? I'm going to tell you, I believe it's because of what Jody Sue said, which we suspected. We suspected, some stuff going on up there early on, before Jody Sue really ever spoke out. We already knew about Don trying to sell his son up in Utah. We already knew about him running a place over in Arkansas that, law enforcement and CPS came in and took a lot of children out because, they were running a thing over there where these SAers were essaying children, as young as 1-2 years old, to be honest. So, these are some really sick individual people, and these people didn't get their kids back either. They didn't get their kids back that got took out of Don and Pam's place over in Arkansas. So they came in and got them, and then they went into Tennessee. And why would it be any different than Utah and Arkansas? The only difference was instead of having Pam, he had evil Candace with him, which, is, to be honest with you, is equivalent to Pam. I think Pam might have been a little better because at least she's kept her children. I can't say she kept them safe, but she tried to keep them. And the thing is, I believe that was going on over there in Tennessee as well. And because Jody Sue, when Andy decided to leave Jody Sue and he got with something else, right? And Jody Sue was saying some pretty bad stuff about Munster. That's what she called him, Munster. She was saying some pretty bad stuff. But when Andy and his girlfriend showed up on a live with the wedding ring on the girlfriend's finger and turned the girlfriend into the wife, Jody Sue went, she lost it, right? She lost, all of her crap, and she really needed the brain barrel at the end of the porch then. And, she came out, right? She opened the live and she came out and she was like, you go over there and you ask him what he was given, to those children at 110, and you ask him what he was giving Candace Wells for those children to sedate those little girls to be touched, and not just Summer Wells, but other little girls over there to be touched. And you ask him what it was besides the goody good stuff. That's Jody Sue quoting Jody Sue. That's not PG's words. That's Jody Sue's words. And she was a scorned woman from Hades at the time she said this, because she just found out he married up this woman and wasn't going to ever be coming back to her now. So, all hell broke loose. And at that particular time, she thought, you know what? I'd rather see you in prison than to see you with this woman. And she thought, she's going to tell everything. She's ready to, lock him away. Now that she she doesn't have a chance of getting him back. And I think she came out and spilled a whole lot of beans on him. And then, slept on it. Then she thought about it and slept on, and, she got all the anger out of her and slept on it. And then, law enforcement did go knocking at the door When that statement was made, they went knocking at Jody Sue's door. And then, you know, she shut the door in their face, said she could say whatever she wanted to, as long as she didn't say it to them, and shut the door on them. But they did look into that one. They did look into that. And, you know, and I believe they believe she was telling the truth as well. You know, they wouldn't have went to her house looking into it if they didn't think it was true. Right? So they thought there was truth to that. So they already have something to, you know, to already suspect that this was going on up there. Just saying. You know, you got to know how law enforcement works. They don't go chase a lead if they don't think it's leading anywhere. So that's what leads me to believe that, you know, Candace and Don Wells, I think something happened. Summer was looking very sick. You can see in the picture, Summer was looking very sick. You know, her health was going downhill very rapidly. Very rapidly. And you could tell it. And I think that, you know, they plotted on her long beforehand. I think they had been, you know, plotting for a minute on Summer. They cut all of her hair off. Donald started driving the Subaru instead of, you know, his regular vehicle, because the Subaru had Starlink, which was an extra alibi for Donald, besides his phone and a few people seeing him. And, you know, he fired his coworker to blame it all on. I mean, if it was, you know, why is he going to fire his coworker to blame it all on? You know, if nothing was going to happen, right? I mean, you could tell when Don drove the Subaru and fired his coworker, and then the very next day, he drives the Subaru again, and then, you know, Summer comes up missing, and Don, as soon as Don gets there, you know, and calms down enough to you know, gets the fear out of him, that law enforcement's there, they might notice, you know, what a guilty bastard he is. Once he was able to, you know, sit in his car and calm down enough to actually, you know, get his knees from knocking, he finally, you know, talked to law enforcement, and, you know, and the first things out of his mouth is, you know, I believe it was my coworker. I believe it was. I fired him yesterday. I believe he did this. And, you know, he has law enforcement right on his coworker, right? And because that was his plan. He planned that. And it's lucky that Dudley wasn't somewhere else. Dudley was at home, been home all day, working on his vehicle, broken down vehicle, with a bunch of neighbors to alibi for him. But if he'd have been anywhere else, he may be in prison. He might be in jail. But Don Wells set that guy up. Because, see, when we all know, the first thing law enforcement asked is you. The first thing they asked you, if you got a missing kid, or, you know, or a family member, something ends up happening to a family, first thing that law enforcement asked is you, when a crime's committed, is, do you know anybody? Was you guys having trouble with anyone? Do you know anybody that might have wanted to do something bad to these people, get even in some way? Did you got anybody mad at you? That's what they asked you. And Don knew that question was going to come up, and that's why Dudley was fired, and Don wanted to blame it on him. You know, of course, somebody's mad at me. I just fired this guy yesterday. You know, perfect fucking, you know, crime right here. Don was trying to make the perfect crime and get away with it. Right? And right now he's sitting saying, I did, bitch. I did get away with it. That's what he's sitting. He's, him and Candace watching right now, laughing. Because I know Don Wells very well. And he's saying, I did, bitch. No, Don, you didn't. You didn't. Because this case isn't cold. It ain't cold, Don Wells. It's hot. It's as hot as it ever was. Matter of fact, I think it's bulling right now. I think it's bulling right now. Matter of fact, it's bulling over because people's talking. People's talking. Law enforcement's learning a lot more. And to be honest with you, I don't think you've got away with anything. I don't think you've got away with nothing. I think that, you're a sitting duck right now, and they're going to get you. They're going to get you at some point. So you just keep thinking what you're thinking, because you're fucking wrong. Okay? You're not as smart as you thought you were. That's all I got to say. Absolutely not. I'm going to tell you, these people ain't got away with shit. Because in my opinion, this case just got started. I think this case just got started because they just now getting some information they didn't have before. I think it's just getting started, Don. You guys went through a lot of people. Allison, Leslie, Summer, you destroyed her, in my opinion. Leslie, Allison, Jose. You guys destroyed quite a bit of people. I believe Marlena's dad. I believe the other guy that they found right after Summer went missing. You guys, you made your rounds. You destroyed a lot of people. A lot of people, are gone that was here. But I'm going to tell you what. Even Cotton Simpson, Cotton another one. That was, two birds with one stone, right, Fred? You got double dividends there. But the point being is, this case just getting started. It ain't over. It's far from over. And what these suspects are is a bunch of sitting ducks. That's what they are. And somebody's talking. You obviously didn't get whoever's talking. Right? You missed a couple. Right? You missed a couple. Because they talking now. And you know what? It's got to be some good stuff. It's got to be some good stuff, because I heard that this case is rolling, baby. It's rolling. And there's gonna be some stuff. There's gonna be some stuff coming out real soon. So, you didn't do good enough. That's all I got to say. You didn't do it good enough. And once they get the rest of their people they're looking for right now surrounding this case, once they get the rest of the people they're looking for to solidify what they've already got, well, I think Summer's case is about to be solved. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. So it's far from over. That's for sure. Didn't get away with nothing. You wouldn't have got away with it anyway. Because you know what? God's the real judge. In all of this. So you didn't get away with anything anyhow, because you're going to get judged no matter what. No matter what, you'd have been judged. I'm just glad to hear that you're about to get judged on earth, right? That's what I was glad to hear. I'm glad that came through the grapevine to PG's ears. Is, new stuff's coming out, new people's talking, and they got some really solid things, and they're looking into it. Deeply looking into it. They're on it, looking into it. Like, it's big. It's big. So, there you go. Just giving you the heads up there. You know, you can't stop what's already happened. You can't stop what's already happened. There you go. Right? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, right.
But me and him and a bunch of us was riding bikes off the hill, and he shot at me twice. Then we
Wow.
have had some conversation, you know, back and forth, him snobbing his nose up and this and that and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't nothing serious after that for a long time because my dad went down there and straightened things out. And then before he lost his place or whatever, I went down there a few times and just riding up in the holler. He never said anything to me. I turned around in the driveway. I've talked to him a couple of times, and then it went better from there. And then I got mad at him because Jody Sue told me that it was him that plotted against me to make me lose my youngin'. That she had paperwork for that. So yeah, then I started getting mad at him again.
I thought she said that was her boyfriend, not her husband. Just asking.
Daniel, my child's daddy is her daddy. That is not my husband. My husband, I married him out of Kentucky 20 years ago.
Okay, so she got married to another guy that she left, and then she got with her baby's daddy, which she was not married to. The one she was with for 14 years and was talking about, which is her baby's daddy. She is not married to him.
No, ma'am.
Right. Do you know Laura?
I know about her. I don't know her like personally, like kick it, we're friends, nothing like that. No.
Okay.
I've talked to her a couple of times, but other than that, no. I mean, we wasn't like buddy, clique, you know, friends. No.
Okay.
No.
How good did you know Fred? Like was he like a good friend? Somebody you knew, or was he more like an acquaintance, or like how well did you know Fred? Did you know Fred well enough to ask him to help go up on the Wells property from the other side and still up on the dirt bikes and everything and get out of there with them?
No, I would have never went to Fred and asked him to do that.
Well, that's what Fred Hill said. That's what Fred said. And I have the receipts. I have the receipts where Fred said that Marlena they asked him to go up on the Wells property and do this dirty deeds and this stuff. Yeah, I'm going to be playing that out because I think that's part of what they, took out when Ziggy did all of her, PG and Fred conversation, whatever. You didn't do yourself no justice there, Ziggy. You didn't do yourself no justice when you put all that out. Matter of fact, it made me laugh. I'm still laughing. I think, right? I think that's the funniest damn thing I ever seen. You put, you to do, was put all that stuff out. And I'll tell you why. Because people could, what you did is you basically let all these people know that PG does work for Summer, that I stay on topic. Nobody's trying to get with nobody's old man. Nobody's trying to do anything out of the ordinary. I was keeping it professional. You showed everybody that I was doing everything I could for little Summer Moon. You told Wells to get all the information I can to help her case. That's what you showed everybody. You showed them how damn professional I am. And also, Ziggy, how damn good I am at doing what I do. That's what you showed them. And I appreciate it. You did me a good turn. I appreciate that. Right? Yeah. Man, I'm going to tell you, she made PG smell like a rose. And I'll tell you what, the only one she made smell like crap was Fred, right? Was Fred Hill. And she tried to, delete stuff out of those comments. I'm going to tell you, I didn't ever, when I seen something that I was supposed to have deleted, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Hell no. Because I ain't ever deleted any messages at all. I don't take messages back. I don't say anything that I don't want. If I say it to them, honey, I'll say it to you. If I say it to them, I'll show it to you. I don't even care because I got nothing out here to hide. From day one, I said, hey, I come out here for this little girl. I don't know why I got selected to be up here. I don't know why God picked me to be over here doing what I do for these missing kids. I don't know. But I tell you what, he's got me here and he's got me doing it, and I'm going to do the best I can. While I'm here, I'm going to do the best I can, and I think I have. And I'm going to tell you something. God put this channel together, not PG. And he put it together for this little girl, and I do my best for her. I do my best for her as much as I possibly can. I do my best. And you showed everybody that. You showed everybody that, Ziggy. You showed them that I keep it professional, and I do a damn good job at what PG does here. That's what you did. That's what you did. And you made your old boy smell like crap. And you deleted comments. And I don't ever delete nothing. Because I have nothing to hide from my people or anyone else. But I'm going to tell you what. I'm in a process of putting all of what you put out there. I'm in the process of putting it all together. The only problem is mine don't have nothing missing. Mine don't have shit missing. Because I ain't got nothing to hide, Ziggy, and I'm going to put it out the way it went down. Just the way it went down from day one all the way up to recently. And I'm going to let everybody see the truth. And then they're going to check yours, and they're going to check mine, and they're going to see what your ass was hiding. They're going to see. Yeah. I'm going to tell you that right now. I got put here. I got put here to do my best for these missing kids. And PG does it. And I do it. And I said from day one, I ain't here for anything else. I'm not here for anything else. I said from day one, who do I fear so much that I would defy my God to lie to anybody? Because I'm going to tell you, they ain't been born yet. The person I fear ain't been born yet, and they probably ain't ever going to be. Right? They ain't ever going to be. And that's just the way it is. I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide. I walk every single day. I get up in the morning thanking my God, and I go to bed thanking my God. And I tell you what, I've often said, and I'll say it again. If I don't get into heaven, it's only going to be because God don't want to hear my voice no more. Tell you what, I talk to God more than I talk to anyone. Because I know who I need in this world. And I know who counts in this world. And it ain't no humans. It's God Almighty and his son, Jesus Christ. And that's who I stay close to. And I don't have to be out here making shit up. I don't have to lie to kick it. I don't believe in lying. Don't plan on it either. That's right. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. And whoever believeth in him shall have eternal life. John 3:16. That's PG cannot keep no secrets. That's what he told me. He told me that you and your brother and your boyfriend, that you guys, was asking him to, maybe that's where Don got it. That's where Don got, you know, that you guys supposedly thieves and everything. But he said that, you know, you guys did want him to help, and he said no, he don't get into none of that shit.
Well, that party's lying because I know he stole a couple motorcycles somewhere. Let's just put it that way. And for two, I would have never went and asked Fred Hill to do that because I was still pissed off at him for him shooting at me towards the road. That I wasn't even on I wasn't even on his property. I was in the middle of the county road and he was shot at me.
Who stole up a couple motorcycles?
Fred Hill has.
Oh, do tell. Do tell.
I mean, I know that he stole a couple because he's had a couple down there that he shouldn't have had down there. And I'm not putting anybody else's name out there where he got them from. He knows exactly where he got them from.
Is Fred related to you in any way?
No, he's not related to me.
Okay.
But my mom was with my older siblings' dad for certain many years. He got killed in a car accident. And then my mom remarried to my dad and had 3 more children. One of us has passed away, and then there's me and my brother.
Right.
Okay. My mama married a Dykes. So therefore, if Fred Hill is kin to any of the Dykeses, then she's kin to my half siblings, not me.
Okay. So he might be kin to your half siblings.
Yes. I don't know that for sure. I don't know that for 100%. I don't know. Fred Hill is no righteous motherfucker. Let's just put it that way. I'm going to finish this out because it's on my heart too. Fred Hill is no righteous motherfucker. He might act like he's all innocent and this and that, but he's not. He's done some horrible things in his life, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about. If he's in the chat or whatever, he knows what he's done in his lifetime. And I ain't going to air out no dirty laundry on him, but yeah, he did steal a couple motorcycles because I had a dude come ask me if he had seen his motorcycles. And the only person I knew that where they could hide them at was up in that holler because they had all that land and all that. And when I went there, there was a couple of them sitting there. And yes, I did go back and tell the dude that I thought they were there. And he said, okay, that's cool. I'll take care of it. There was nothing more said. And then, like I said, he shot at me at the road. We had that beef. And I went a very, very long time without even speaking to him because I couldn't even stand to look at him because you was going to try to kill me when I'm in a county road that I ain't even on your property, period.
See there? She said that she went and told the person that Fred took these motorcycles from, she went and told that he took them, and they went, you know, to retrieve them from Fred. She said, I told where they were, and they said they're going to go take care of it. They're going to get them back. So you see, Fred was, according to Marlena, Fred's a thief. He's a thief. And I'm going to tell you something. I believe Marlena. I believe her. She ain't got no reason to lie on these people. She don't even like them. She don't even care about them. They have done evil to her. They've done evil to her. And she has no reason, to make any shit up on them. She's just telling the God's truth on them. And I tell you, these people, I'm sure they could tell a lot of truth on her too. I think they could tell a lot of truth on her as well. But I'm going to tell you something. She's telling the truth on them. And like she said, Fred is an evil human being. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that. And I believe that is why, Cotton Simpson is no longer with us. I think Fred had his hand in whatever happened to Summer. The neighbor people said that Fred wasn't ever seen coming back into, he said him and Laura had been out that day, first going to, the junkyard, and they did, they got in, and then they didn't get in. And then, They went to a store, you know, when they did get in, they went to the store to get some much needed items. When they didn't get in, they decided to just stop and get something to eat with what little money they had and go back to Ben Hill Road, where they found out Summer was missing. And then, you know, he come out with Andy was on the road and he's hauling motorcycles. Not, you know, first it was a guy that he didn't know and hadn't ever seen no more. And then it was, oh, I do know him. And it wasn't one motorcycle, it was two. You know, Fred is a liar. He's a freaking liar. You can't be doing all of that shit on June 15th, 2021. You can't be doing it all. Either you went to the crusher and it was open or you didn't. You either went there and it wasn't open or you didn't. You either hauled somebody's motorcycle you don't know or you didn't. You either freaking hauled somebody you did know with two motorcycles or you didn't. But you can't fucking do it all, right? You can't do it all. Why is he making up tons of different stories? Because he's a liar and he can't remember. He's so ate up from his substance abuse all of those years that he can't remember, keep his lies straight. And he keeps messing up, but he is lying. And then, but I tell you who isn't lying. It's the neighbors who said we were down there asking if if they need help. We were down there with the search party. We was asking if they need searchers that were willing to search and help find Summer. And we didn't ever see, yes, we do know Fred. Everybody knows Fred. And we did not see Fred ever come back in to Ben Hill Road. And we were there, we was there early on, and we didn't ever see Fred and Laura come back in. But we did see Fred trying to leave in dusk to dark. Like after everybody was already there and, people were getting ready to search and everything, Fred's trying to leave out, and law enforcement said nobody's leaving. And he had to turn around and go back to his house. So you know what that tells me? It tells me that Fred and Laura didn't go no damn where that day. And they must have been at home when Chad Arnold was down there meeting up with Candace Wells. They went nowhere. They were there the whole damn time. So if they was there the whole time, then they know what happened to little Summer, right? They know exactly what happened to. Just saying. Oh yeah, she said she was afraid of Fred. She ain't afraid of Fred. Let me tell you now, she ain't afraid of Fred. None of them's afraid of Fred. Yeah, Fred is meaner than a junkyard dog. I tell you that now. But nobody's scared of him. No, Candace ain't afraid of him. Candace says, I'm not afraid of you, Fred. You work for me and Donnie. You're a distributor. You work for us. We don't work for you. If it wasn't for us and our, and our substance abuse habits, you'd be out of business. Right? You're a public servant to us, Fred. And Don Wells made a comment to me that Fred Hill would do anything for $1. He would do anything for $1. That came out of Don Wells' mouth. Sure did. Right at the time Ziggy was trying to go live on some deer's bones, right? Some bones of a deer. Don Wells was laughing his ass off, saying that Fred Hill would do anything for a couple bucks, as if Don put him up to do what he did to Ziggy. And I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt. That sounds like something Don Wells would do. I think he'd give Fred a couple bucks to do what Fred did. Just saying. Fred isn't all there. Fred isn't all there. Fred Hill do anything for, yeah. that's what I heard. That's what I heard. You guys gotta excuse me. My freaking goody good is biting. It's biting me back. Bubby and Sissy's doing good, girl. Bubby and Sissy's doing good. But yeah, you know, Marlena gave it to him. Marlena gave it to him. She knew Fred. She knew Fred very, very well. You know, and I kept asking, you know, how well. She didn't want to say how well she knew him because she's knew Fred for a long time and she knows him really, really well, right? She knows him really, really well. But we got about halfway through this tonight. This is a very long interview, and I also have about 40 hours of Fred Hill speaking with me. It's a lot, you guys. And next week I'm going to try to start putting that, because I got to put it over in content. And I'm going to try to put that over in content as well as the all the text through Facebook Messenger. I'll roll those out, and I'm going to roll out all, because I recorded everything. I record everything, and I'm going to roll out that as well. So you're going to be listening to Fred Hill's, you know, mine and Fred's private conversations. You're going to listen to them. Like I said, I got nothing to hide. It stayed professional because only thing I care about is finding Summer Moon Utah Wells, right? That's it. I just want Summer found. I want Summer laid to rest. If she's no longer with us, and I don't think she is, that's my opinion, I want her laid to rest righteously, where her brothers will, you know, be able to go see her, talk to her, you know, and just know where she's at. They'll just get closure, you know. I want them to know they had nothing to do with what happened to Summer. They were victims too. They were victims to all of this as well. Those boys were victims. And I want them to know that they had nothing to do with what happened to their sister. I want them to know where their sister is so they can visit her up, leave flowers, let her know how much they love her, and they can move on with their lives and live a decent life. They deserve that. They deserve that. And that, you know, and that's what we're working for. We're working for closure. We're working for peace for Summer. We want her to be laid to rest peacefully. I don't think I don't think anyone could rest peacefully with everything going on in this case. I don't think that Summer could ever rest peacefully, you know, thinking that her brothers still believe the bullshit Candace and Don put on them. Believe it, you know, they made those boys believe that Summer was somewhere around there and it was their fault she's gone. Man, you don't let a child live with a burden like that. You do not let anyone ever live with a burden like that. Ever. That's a heavy burden for a child to carry. And it can cause those boys a lot of trauma throughout the rest of their lives. They need closure. These boys need to know they had nothing to do with it. They need to know where their sister is. They need to know the truth. And they need the closure in all of this. So they can live normal like they should have always been living. But couldn't because they had two sorry ass parents that wasn't allowing it. And I would say that's my opinion, but I'm not going to because that's the truth. The truth is those children were used and abused from day one, from birth. They were treated so bad. They lived in a pig pen, a place that looked like, I mean, I think it was dirtier than a pig pen. I think a pig pen's probably clean compared to what those babies lived in. Look at the mattress they slept on. Look at the mattress. It looked like pigs had been wallowing all over that mattress. And that was a human sleeping on it. Just take a look at it. They were eating a pizza a day, a dollar store pizza a day. Don took all the milk to work. Don was drinking up all the milk while the children was drinking water. They was lucky they had water. Those kids went to school every single day and put up with a whole lot of, bullying. A lot of bullying and everything at school. Just so they could have breakfast, lunch. Because all they would have gotten was a dollar pizza. Had they been at home. They had perfect attendance because they wanted to eat. They relied on that cafeteria food. And they wanted to get the hell away from that hellhole of a house where there was nothing but, drama and trouble day and night. They were living a miserable life with miserable people, and they had no control over that, and no one was helping them until their sister came up missing. Nobody even cared until their sister came up missing. It took Summer to come up missing for Child Protective Services to actually do their damn job. That's my opinion. I'll keep it. She did. Summer saved her brothers, and they needed saved. Summer was an angel. I believe Summer was sent here to do what she did and be taken back. When your work on this earth is done, God will call you home. We all are here for a purpose. We're all here for a reason. We're all vessels of the Lord's. And God uses, He uses each one of us to do different missions. And if you ain't been called home yet, then you got a lot more stuff you need to be doing on this earth. There's still things that God has a purpose for you. And there's still things that need to be done that you haven't done yet. And when, like I said, when your work is done, you'll be called home. But until then, God will leave you here and you'll continue to do His work. Some people, like haters, evil people, for instance, they're God's vessels too. And I think that, I think God uses them, I think God uses those hater people to open the eyes of the righteous people. I think, even haters get used to show other people how much they need God. There's good coming out of everything. If you look for the good, you'll surely find it. Right? You sure will. Abraham Lincoln. Look for the good in mankind and you'll surely find it. If you look for the bad, you'll surely find that too. So always look for the good. Seek the good. Seek the good, you guys. But anyway, I've overstayed my welcome tonight. I'd like to cover some more things, but we'll be back. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow night. And I'll have more for you. And I got a surprise. Something that I came across and I'm like, whoa, my people really want to hear this one. They're going to be shocked. I was shocked. But I think you're going to be shocked too. You're going to be like, whoa. Wow. Nobody thought of that. But we did. And I'm going to tell you something. God bless us. God bless each and every last one of us who are working diligently for these missing children. God bless us. May God be with us always and forever. To us who truly care. Keep those prayers going up. Keep them going up for Summer Moon, Utah Wells. Keep them going up for Sebastian Rogers, Michael Vaughn, little Jack and Lily. Keep them going up for Emmanuel. He hasn't been found yet. Keep them going up for him as well. And keep them going up for one another. God bless. Much love. Good night, everybody. And I still appreciate you being here.